My gut twisted like a shiv. I didn't make a sound, just listened, every nerve on fire. Then bam! A shadow slunk under my door, quick and filthy, like death hunting fresh meat. I thought it might be Pops, stumbling back from a fridge raid. But those steps were heavy as sin. Not his raggedy slippers. Big, ugly boots, stomping hard. I'm Jeremy, 15 years old and weird as hell, damn proud of it. While other kids played sports or hit the mall, I devoured horror. Tales from the Crypt comics. Films with Michael Myers. And Dracula bleeding red. I didn't just dig monsters, I studied them. How they stalked. How they struck. How victims always botched it. Tripping and begging like fools. So I turned my room into a monster trap. Bed 1 foot from the wall by the door for a quick getaway. One slide, and I'd vanish under it. A ghost in the shadows. Teen logic, maybe, but it was my religion. That night, something ripped me out of sleep. Not a bang, just a slow creak. I blinked, eyes crusty, clock glowing 2:47 a.m. Figured Pops was sneaking a sandwich. Guy's got 2 left feet. Then it came again, closer, meaner, from Ma and Pops's room. A gasp, sharp, like a blade, rustling sounds. Then 2 wet thumps, like meat hitting a slab. Then, silence, cold as a grave. My blood froze, legs locked up. I waited for Ma's voice, Pops's snore, nothing. Just boots, thump thump, coming down the hall. Right outside my door, I went still as a corpse, breath trapped tight, his slow, shallow breathing like a wolf sniffing blood. My heart slammed so loud I swore he'd hear it, calling him in. I slid between bed and wall, dropping under like I drilled 1,000 times. Silent, just sweaty palms and eyes nailed to the door. The handle clicked, twisted. He stepped in, cool as ice. Boots scuffed the hardwood, pants frayed like he'd crawled out of hell. I bit my lip till it bled, choking my breath. He crossed to the window, looming there, staring out, checking for witnesses, the bastard. I didn't freeze. Snatched the vegetable oil stashed under the bed, my secret sauce, and squeezed a slick, greasy pool on the hardwood. Then I moved, legs steady but wired, slammed the door, wham! Grabbed the rope and hook off the hall bookcase Pops rigged for kid stuff, looped it round the knob and yanked it tight to the bolt across the hall, caging him in. The bastard slipped, crashing hard like a drunk in a gutter. Boots skidded, then, boom! He hit the door. It shook but held. I hauled ass to Ma and Pop's room, and Christ, the bed was a slaughterhouse, sheets drowned in red, their eyes staring at nothing. My knees buckled, but I kept moving. Down the stairs, through the kitchen, I ripped the back door open barefoot and hit the wet grass, cold as death. Glanced back. There he was, a black shape in my window, swinging a leg over, ready to drop 2 stories to carve me up. This is where the story I told the police ends. But there's more to this tale. The horror movie reel I didn't show the cops. The one that'd make them choke on their coffee.
Traps bite hard, but revenge bites deeper.
No time for crying. I bolted to the shed, my ace in the hole. Inside was my tunnel, leading to a secret door by the old elm. I dove in, slithered under the lawnmower, yanked it back to cover my tracks, and crawled through dirt, heart pounding like a war drum. The shed door creaked open. He was coming. Snap! A scream ripped the night, raw, guttural. My bear trap, loaded on the floor, bit down hard. That bear trap snapped his ankle. He tore free, dragging himself across the shed floor, whispering like a B-movie psycho, "You're dead, kid!" Creepy as hell. But I wasn't shaken. I was burning. Red hot, seeing stars. Pissed. I crawled through my Viet Cong tunnel, muddy, tight, my personal warpath, slipping through the secret door behind the elm into Miss Bray's yard, but I didn't run to her house. I crouched like a ninja, waiting. I turned my yard into a slaughterhouse, nail boards, rusty spikes under leaves, tripwires taut as guitar strings. He stumbled through the maze of traps, cussing and screaming with every step. Snap. The twig I was waiting for broke. Showtime. I cut the cord. A pulley screeched. Wham! 100-pound kettlebell, swiped from Pop's dusty gym, dropped like Satan's fist, hitting him wet. Skull cracked like rotten fruit, blood spraying the grass red. He hit the ground, limp, a broken mess. I didn't wait, rolled him into my monster pit, a hole I dug for fun, lined with jagged rebar. He fell, bones snapping like twigs. I shoveled dirt fast, burying his sorry ass deep, then tossed the pulley, rope, and weight in after him. Smoothed it flat, wiped my hands on my dirt-streaked jeans. I hit Miss Bray's porch, pounding the bell like a madman, shaken worse than a junkie. She opened up, old lady eyes wide, but the hour kept her quiet. I threw up a shush signal and collapsed in her arms, sobbing the story out, tears real as the blood on my hands. He took Ma, Pops, my whole damn world, but I buried his ass where monsters belong. She bolted every lock, dialed 911. Cops screeched, and 15 minutes later, found Ma and Pops side by side, carved up in their sleep. Pry marks on the basement window. The bastard had slunk in, lurking like a roach till we fell asleep. They figured he limped off after dropping from my window. I never told him about the shed, the kettlebell, or what was buried in the backyard. Cops checked hospitals for busted ankles. Nada. No cameras back then. Just size 11 boot prints in the grass, as common as dirt. They said my monster room trap saved my hide, my bottle of vegetable oil and bedroom lock contraption. Damn straight. That night flipped a switch in me. Monsters ain't just vampires, hairy wolfmen, or creeps with chainsaws. They're everywhere, hiding behind whiskey breath and yellowed grins. Like that lowlife Lenny across the street, stumbling home drunk every night, reeking of cheap booze. I've seen him swing at his wife when the shades are up, heard his kid crying through the walls, watched him kick his mangy dog for barking too much. He glares at me like I'm gum stuck on his boot, calling me little girl and crap like that. I see him now, another monster, begging to get his, and I'm the monster destroyer, protector of the innocent, ready to do it. My eyes catch the dim glow, fixed on Lenny's flickering porch light across the street. A smirk tugs at my lip. I roll that rusty nail between my fingers, feeling the weight of what's coming.
Monsters beware. The kid's got a long memory. Jeremy's traps caught one monster, but another waits across the street. Revenge is sweet, so keep your doors locked, freaks. The Starlight Motel, where the ice machine's broken. The towels smell like sin, and every room's got secrets no bleach can scrub clean. Let's drop in on a man named Mike, a vending machine tech who's trying to crawl out of hell.
I was restocking the soda machine when she limped past me. Black eye, split lip, track marks up both arms like road maps to hell. Two goons flanking her, one rail-thin and twitchy, the other built like a brick shithouse with prison tats to match. They dragged her up to room 22. She didn't scream, didn't cry, just floated like a ghost with a heartbeat. I'd worn that look once, back when my veins weren't mine.
What you're seeing here, that's trauma in motion.
My name's Mike. I've done things I won't even confess to a priest with a loaded shotgun. But lately, 3 months clean. Barely. All I got between me and the abyss is this gig, stocking candy and soda for assholes who don't know my name. But the Starlight Motel, that place was oozing rot through the walls, buzzing neon, cracked stucco, smelled like bleach, broken dreams, and motel-grade sex. Still, quarters kept piling up. Back stairwell, office lobby, $50 a week in change, from 2 damn machines. I got greedy, started skimming. A few quarters here, a roll there. Nobody noticed, nobody cared. And then I heard it. Room 22. Every night. Violence and misery. And then her with that face. That haunted, hollow face. I couldn't sleep after that. She was burned into the back of my eyelids. So I started watching. lurking in shadows, like a wannabe vigilante. She came back, looking worse. Tried to buy a Coke. I stepped out from the shadows. "Hey," I whispered. "You okay?" She looked at me like a kicked dog. Tried to bolt. But I held my hands up. No sudden moves. "I know what this is," I said. "I know you're not here by choice. I can help you," I said. "Trust me." She didn't. Not yet. But she paused. Just long enough for hope to get its hooks in. Then the fridge-shaped bastard stepped outside. She vanished like smoke. So I left her notes. Slipped under vending slots. No cops. Just me. Then one night, she whispered it. "Tonight." She was shaking. "They'll kill me," she said, "if I screw this up. Can I trust you?" I showed her my arms. Old scars. Needle tracks like tally marks. "I've been caged too," I said. "Not like you. But I know what it is to rot." She nodded. "My name's Mike. I'm Kim." The skinny freak left in a rust bucket van. The big guy. Drunk in a busted lawn chair on the ground floor below room 22. Bottle of Jack spilling into the gravel. No clients tonight. Just silence and shadows. I crept to her window and tapped gently. She cracked it open, her eyes wild. "I'm ready," she said. "Lure him away," she added. I nodded. And then I snatched a fire extinguisher off the hallway wall. Pulled the pin with my teeth. Sprayed a blizzard over the balcony like I was putting out hellfire. The drunk jerked awake, coughing, swearing, blind with foam. "Who the hell's out there?" I didn't stop. I hurled the extinguisher over the railing. It smashed through a rusty car's back window. Lights flicked on. Dogs barked. Motel chaos erupted like a kicked hornet's nest. Big guy stumbled toward the sound, boots crunching glass. Cursing. Blind. Dumb. Perfect. I melted back into the shadows, praying she was running. When I came back, the window was wide open, and she was gone. No sign of her, just the dent in the mattress. Then I heard shouting. The van guy was back, pissed, loud, armed. "We find her," he screamed. "We finish her for good this time." I ducked behind the vending machine, heart pounding. I didn't breathe. They slunk past, reeking of booze and BO. I stepped from the shadows, hurling 2 Coke cans. Crack, pow, soda spraying like arterial blood, cans clattering. The goons dropped. Thump, thump, like garbage sacks. Ex-junkies still got skills. I stepped over them, boots grinding grit, and slipped out the back, neon buzzing. My truck, a rusted beast, waited. I sat, eyes locked on the night, thick with diesel. She never showed. I drove all night, looking, hoping, but nothing. And the next day I went back to work. The Starlight's coins dried up. No more thugs and no more quarters. Just me, clean, still clean. Something about Kim. Seeing her run. Knowing she chose freedom. It flipped a switch in me, and I didn't want the needle. I wanted to live. I never saw her again. No word, no clue if she made it. But in my better moments, I picture her barefoot on a beach somewhere, hair grown out, breathing free. And in the dark moments, I picture them catching her and finishing what they started. But I don't stay there, can't. I've got vending machines to fill.
Mike needed redemption. Kim needed salvation. Happenstance brought them together at the Starlight. And just maybe, they saved each other. At least for now.
Rain tracked Big Al's rig to a Nebraska truck stop, neon flickering, the air thick with diesel haze. His Peterbilt sat empty under the garish blue and red glow of a buzzing sign. She slipped inside the cab, the bunk reeking of whiskey and stale sweat. Her waist bag, which was lost days earlier with her sister's locket inside, laid among scattered bottles. She grabbed it, heart pounding. Her last piece of Ellie, safe again. But she froze as Al's oily laugh and a girl's nervous, slurred voice echoed outside. Rain dove under the bunk, pocket knife ready, finding a jerry-rigged storage hatch, oily, tight, its greasy walls pressing in like a coffin. Her pulse thundered as Al's boots thudded closer. Al climbed into the cab with a young runaway. "We're heading to Denver, sweetheart," he promised, his tone slick as motor oil. The semi roared to life, hitting the highway under a starless Nebraska night. Hours later, as the girl stirred, Al's voice turned predatory. "You're pretty, sweetheart. Be cooperative, or it gets rough." Each word dripping with menace. The girl whimpered, pleading. "Let me go." Rain's fingers trembled with rage in the hatch. She yanked a thick shoelace from her boot, its frayed ends glinting in the cab's dim light. Lunging from the bunk, she hooked the shoelace around Al's neck. The hulking trucker thrashed at the wheel, clawing at the cord, roaring. "Get off!" Rain hissed. "It's my turn now, pig!" Pulling tighter. The runaway screamed. "Stop!" The truck swerved, tires screeching, headlights slicing through diesel haze. The girl fumbled the passenger door, tumbling onto the asphalt with a sickening thud. Al's elbow slammed into Rain's ribs, loosening her grip. Crash. The semi slammed sideways into a ditch, glass shattering, metal crumpling. Smoke curled from the wreckage. The girl lay crumpled on the asphalt, lifeless. Al slumped over the wheel, blood trickling from his forehead, groaning faintly. Rain hesitated, clutching her bag with the locket, her eyes lingering on the girl. She hadn't saved her, just like she hadn't saved Ellie. She walked off as sirens wailed in the distance. From the trees, she watched paramedics haul Al away. The girl lay lifeless on a stretcher.
Just hold on now, folks. Rain's hunt for Big Al started 3 days before that wild semi-crash you saw. Let's roll back the clock to see how this fire got lit.
Rain stood on a highway shoulder, thumb out, her frayed hoodie flapping in the Nebraska wind. A semi growled to a stop, revealing Big Al, fat, balding, his grin too slick. "Need a ride, darlin'?" His voice oozed honey, but his eyes held a wrongness, like a snake sizing up prey. Rain's gut twitched. He's probably harmless, she told herself, adjusting her small waist bag with her sister's locket inside. "Yeah, going west." She climbed into the cab, the air thick with stale burgers and motor oil. Al's gaze crawled over her. She ignored it, jaw tight, but her fingers brushed the old pocket knife in her pocket for reassurance. They pulled into a dive diner off I-80. Over greasy fries, Al's chatter turned oily, his laugh a jagged edge that grated Rain's nerves. His hand grazed hers when he passed the salt, lingering too long, his eyes glinting like a predator's. Her stomach nodded. She'd seen that look before, in men. When she stepped to the bathroom, heart thudding, she caught him slipping powder into her coke from the corner of her eye. Scumbag. Not harmless. She played along, sipping just enough to fake a stumble, letting him think she was out. "Let's get you to the truck," he said, his arm around her, dragging her toward the lot. Her head swam, but she gripped her pocket knife, staying sharp. In the lot's yellow glow, she rammed her elbow into his gut. Al wheezed, stumbling. She sprinted into the dusk, pulse hammering, until she ducked behind a rusty dumpster, gasping. Her hands shook as she patted her waist. Her cell phone was there, but her waist bag was gone. She checked her cell phone's AirTag app, the moving dot confirming her fear. The bag, with all her belongings and Ellie's locket, was still in Al's truck. She'd get her sister's memory back, or die trying.
Rain's been keeping track of Big Al ever since he tried to drug her at a grimy truck stop, and do much worse. Their second encounter left a runaway girl dead in a fiery semi-crash, but Al he survived and healed up. And Rain, well, she's back, sharper, deadlier, ready to carve her revenge. 8 months later.
Al survived the crash, his bulk still a shadow in Rain's nightmares. He had a new Kenworth, now parked at a Wyoming truck stop. Rain arrived, no longer the scruffy hitchhiker. now a femme fatale in a sleek leather jacket, dark lipstick, moving with a panther's grace. She crept into the cab at midnight. She opened the toolbox behind Al's seat, grabbing a drill. Her plan: drill a hole through the bottom of the bunk to skewer Al with a sharpened tire iron while he slept. A fitting end for a rapist pig. A little elaborate, sure, but it felt right. The hole wasn't deep enough when Al's boots crunched outside. Too soon. Rain dove under the modified bunk, abandoned drill shavings glinting on the floor. Al lumbered in, grumbling, and hit the mattress, his CPAP mask humming. Had he seen the shavings? He exhaled, chuckling faintly, a sound that coiled dread in Rain's gut. Her breath caught. Did he know? She waited, then drilled quietly, sweat stinging her eyes, hands shaking, his CPAP masking the whine. Pop! The last metal under the bunk gave way. Rain gripped the sharpened tire iron, ready to thrust it through the mattress and into Big Al, ending his vile story once and for all. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her ankle. "Knew you'd come back, bitch," Al snarled, yanking her out. Rain thrashed, pulling free, and jammed the drill against his temple, its high-pitched whine shrieking like a banshee. Al staggered back, clutching his head. Her switchblade flashed from her pocket, slashing across his neck. Al fell still, his face etched with a big, red, wet smile. Rain clipped off his pinky, dropping it into a velvet bag with 3 other pinkies. Her eyes gleamed, feral and wild.